Welcome to the Power Play, gamers. We have such sights to show you. Four words that launched one of horror's most philosophically complex creations. While Freddy Krueger cracked jokes and Jason remained silent, the Cenobites arrived in 1987 with something horror had never seen. Intelligent, articulate demons who viewed pain and pleasure as indivisible. This is the story of the Cenobites. Demons to some, angels to others. The Cenobites aren't your typical horror villains. In fact, calling them villains might be entirely wrong. They're extra-dimensional beings existing in the labyrinth. A realm of impossible geometries ruled by Leviathan, the god of flesh, hunger, and desire. Leviathan itself is an enormous rotating diamond larger than a skyscraper, transmitting a Morse code signal. God in hell. But here's the disturbing truth. Every Cenobite was once human. They're transformed through an excruciating process where bodies are mutilated, blood replaced with blue fluid, and minds shattered. All memories erased, leaving only twisted caricatures serving the Order of the Gash, a masochistic religious organization. They describe themselves perfectly. Explorers in the further regions of experience, demons to some, angels to others. Their philosophy centers on coincidentia oppositorum, the union of opposites. Pain and pleasure aren't different sensations. They're two facets of the same experience pushed beyond human comprehension. As victim Frank Cotton said, pain and pleasure, indivisible. Despite appearing only 8 minutes in the original film, Pinhead became horror's most iconic villain. His name was Elliot Spencer, a British World War I captain born in 1887. The Battle of Flanders shattered his faith. Suffering PTSD, he discovered the lament configuration in British India around 1921. By 1925, he'd become a Cenobite. His appearance is unforgettable. A grid pattern across his bald head with brass nails driven at every intersection, black leather vestments, a blood-soaked chainmail apron, and surgical tools on his belt. But Pinhead's true power is his intellect. Actor Doug Bradley spent 20 minutes alone after first seeing himself in makeup, discovering a sense of tremendous melancholy. I am in mourning for my humanity. Barker envisioned him as a cross between an administrator and a surgeon running a hospital with only operating theaters. He's not a mindless slasher. He's articulate, philosophical, and tragic. His legendary quotes,
"Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. We have such sights to show you."
Pinhead leads an infernal crew. Chatterer, lips peeled back by hooks, constantly chattering teeth. The female Cenobite, throat slashed open, held by surgical pins. Butterball, deceptively the smartest of the group despite his appearance. Each brings unique horror to their mission. None of this matters without the lament configuration, the puzzle box that summons them. Created by the 18th century toy maker Philippe Lemarchand, the box appears as a gold brass cube with arcane symbols. But here's the critical rule. It is not hands that summon us. It is desire. The box responds to deliberate intent. You must want what the Cenobites offer. If someone tricks you into opening it, you're safe. The puzzle is a metaphor for temptation and consent. Pandora's box for an age questioning the boundaries between pleasure and pain. When solved, a bell tolls. Chains fly out. The Cenobites manifest through shadows, and once they arrive, there's no going back. Despite their supernatural abilities, telekinesis, superhuman strength, reality manipulation, they operate under strict rules. They're not chaotic evil. They're lawful, neutral enforcers following an inscrutable code. Clive Barker wrote The Hellbound Heart in 1986 specifically for filming. The 1987 film Hellraiser marked his directorial debut on a $900,000 budget. Barker told Doug Bradley to do less. That stillness became the character's power. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 expanded everything. It revealed Cenobites were former humans, introduced the labyrinth, and showed the transformation process. When Kirsty Cotton shows Pinhead a photograph of Elliot Spencer, he remembers being human, adding tragic depth. But Hellraiser 3 in 1992 went off the rails. Executives wanted Pinhead to be like Freddy Krueger with quips. Films 5 to 10 went direct-to-video, often beginning as unrelated scripts retrofitted into sequels. Barker drew inspiration from S&M clubs, punk fashion, Catholic vestments, and African fetishes with pierced wooden heads. Images of rage. He wanted articulate, aristocratic villains like Christopher Lee's Dracula, never reduced to simple slashers. The Cenobites represent repulsive glamour, simultaneously alluring and revolting. They smell of vanilla mixed with underlying stench. Their leather bodysuits resemble butcher uniforms and religious cassocks. Every detail serves the fusion of sexuality, violence, and devotion. The Cenobites arrived in 1987 when horror had become comedic. They represented complete departure, philosophical depth in an era of one-liners. They contributed unprecedented elements, philosophical complexity, pain and pleasure as indivisible aspects of experience, challenging binary thinking about sensation. BDSM aesthetics, explicitly bringing kink culture's leather, chains, and ritualized pain into mainstream horror. Revolutionary engagement rather than mere subtext. The metal community embraced them extensively. Motorhead created Hellraiser with Bradley as Pinhead, Cradle of Filth, Ice Nine Kills, Dimmu Borgir. Countless bands created Hellraiser-inspired content. And now, Hellraiser Revival arrives in 2026, the first dedicated video game featuring Doug Bradley returning as Pinhead with Barker as creative consultant. A single-player survival horror game inspired by Resident Evil, promising extreme content that's pushing rating systems to their limits. The Cenobites represent horror's most philosophically sophisticated villains, beings embodying fundamental questions about desire, sensation, and human nature. Pinhead's 8 minutes of screen time generated 4 decades of cultural impact, proof that iconic horror requires quality, intelligence, and mystery, not quantity. They endure not despite their transgressive nature, but because of it. In an age questioning boundaries of identity, pleasure, and transformation, these explorers in the further regions of experience remain unsettlingly relevant. Their philosophy challenges us. What are the limits of experience? Where does pleasure end and pain begin? What if pain and pleasure really are indivisible? Clive Barker created something that's torn its way into horror's pantheon, and like those hooked chains, their grip shows no sign of loosening. Because once you open that ancient puzzle box, there is no going back. The Cenobites have such sights to show us, and we can't look away.
We'll tear your soul apart.
If you enjoy our content and want us to keep delivering the latest news, reviews, and gameplay tips, please consider supporting us by clicking the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest uploads. Join the Power Play community with Jason Creed. Thank you for being part of our journey. Let's keep gaming together.